teams in Georgia history. Now he's the head man in the visor. Underway between the hedges. The kickoff is short, and it's taken at the 10-yard line. Missouri will dance all the way out to the 30. A little bit of running room for Larry Roundtree. And Roundtree, the third-string running back, takes it almost to midfield. And a great starting point for this Missouri offense, led by junior quarterback Drew Lock. He's from the Kansas City suburb of Lee Summit, Missouri. He was a great basketball player in addition to being a great football player in high school. His dad played 4 years at Mizzou in the 80s. His grandpa was a Tiger, too. Played for Missouri back in the early 60s. The 1960s was a great decade for the Tigers in terms of big-time upsets, and this would be one of the biggest in Mizzou history if they could pull one off tonight. Demarie Crockett empties the backfield for Mizzou. Flag on the play as Locke completes it. And Jonathan Johnson, we have a false start on Missouri.
Before the snap, false start. Offense, number 81, 5-yard penalty, first down.
That's Matt Leffler, our referee, and that's a mistake that Barry Oldham does not want to see. Mizzou's starters on offense.
Yeah, Jamon Moore, explosive. He's the go-to guy for Drew Lock. Big, outside, physical matchup. Watch him in one-on-one, and don't sleep on number 84, Emmanuel Hall. Big game last week as well.
Pressure coming. Locke dumps it off to Crockett. Gets a key block on the edge, and Crockett able to take it for a gain of 6. Lorenzo Carter, one of the most talented players on this Georgia defense, which is loaded with them. Number 3 in the nation in total D.
No one playing better than Roquan Smith right now. He is everywhere on the field, and very important for him to communicate against this fast-paced Missouri offense tonight.
Tigers will run it. This is Crockett, and he gets bottled up for a loss of 1. We'll talk about Georgia being almost predictable offensively. Missouri is a much more balanced offense, and when they can run it, they can set up shots for them.
Yeah, Tom, it's because all the RPOs, the run-pass option, nearly every play has a run with a pass built in, and it's really up to Drew Lock to pull the trigger on how Georgia comes out, the formation, the structure of that defense.
They're down to 9. Looking for Crockett on a screen, overthrown. And Crockett probably heard footsteps from Roquan Smith coming out. Tigers forced to punt on their first possession. Corey Fatone is Mizzou's punter. He's one of the best in the country, 5th in the nation in average at 47 yards. Terry Godwin back to receive. And this is a beauty. Godwin will let it go over his head. That'll check up, and Missouri will down it inside the 10. 42-yard punt that time. The native of Franklin, Tennessee, Corey Fatone. This is a guy who gets into it. We talked to him before the game. He can be emotional.
Tom, and he looks like a linebacker out there. He's also going to bring that stick if there's an opening for that returner at some point. That was a heck of a punt there.
And Jake Fromm is a heck of a quarterback. Freshman from Warner Robins, Georgia, at a Houston County high school. Fromm stepped into the starting role week 2 after Jacob Eason was injured against Appalachian State, and he hasn't looked back. He is wise beyond his years. Nick Chubb behind him in the backfield. First carry for Chubb will go nowhere. That Missouri defensive line comes up big on the first play. Jake Fromm out of Warner Robins, Georgia. We helped him to the Little League World Series a few years ago. Second leading passer in Georgia high school history. He would have surpassed Deshaun Watson if they would have played a little bit deeper in the playoffs his senior year. Originally committed to Nick Saban in Alabama. He is a perfect fit here. 5th in the league with 10 touchdown passes. Brian Harrion in at running back here on 2nd and 9. He's their 4th stringer, and he gets a touch early and is able to pick up 1. They're the starters for the Bulldogs.
It starts and finishes with Nick Chubb. We saw Brian Harrion out there just a second. We're going to see a heavy dose of 27 tonight The young quarterback, as talented as he is, as smart as he is, his football IQ off the charts, this identity of the Georgia offense is running the football with Nick Chubb and Sony Michel.
Chubb had a big game against Missouri a couple years ago when Todd Gurley was held out. Had 42 touches in his first start, and he went for 174 against Mizzou. Now Michel in the backfield. Already 3 different tailbacks next to Fromm. Complete for a Georgia first down, and Terry Godwin. Gain of 28 on Fromm's first attempt.
And it starts with the blocking up front, Tom. You're going to see Sony Michel pick up a block with a twisting backer. Jake Fromm moves to his left. And a veteran on-target throw by a young quarterback.
Missouri wasn't ready. And so a timeout taken by the Tigers.
Timeout, Missouri.
It should be no surprise to Missouri that Georgia would go up-tempo. They did it a good chunk of the game against Vanderbilt last week. The Tigers try to talk about it, get situated defensively on Georgia's first possession. Let's go down to Cole as he breaks down how Georgia's offense is the readiest for this week's matchup, brought to you by Holiday Inn Express.
Tom, you better be ready for the run-pass option. You'll see receivers running routes, offensive line blocking as if it's a run play, and a big run busted out by Georgia there. It's going to look exactly the same as the offensive line is in run blocking. Jake Fromm's going to pull the football and deliver a pass to the outside. The conflict for the defenders, especially the linebackers in secondary, is that offensive line looks exactly the same every time, as do the receivers. You have to make a decision which one you'd like to defend.
All right, thanks, Cole. Coming out of the Missouri timeout, Georgia looking at a 1st and 10 as they went up tempo, and now they get the Tigers to jump. Well, let's see who that one is on. Might have been
False
Georgia.
start. Offense, number 77. 5-yard penalty. First down.
That's Isaiah Wynn, the senior left tackle. Very versatile offensive lineman. They left guard some last year. 11th best rushing offense in college football belonging to these Georgia Bulldogs with Chubb, Michel, DeAndre Swift, Brian Harrion, Elijah Holyfield. You got 5 dudes who can run it. Nick Chubb gets tripped up after gain of 2. Cale Garrett from Kearney, Missouri comes in to make the stop.
And Tom, and as Cole mentioned down there, the RPO, the run pass option that Georgia does a ton of, really was changed as soon as Jake Fromm took over. Not that Eason didn't execute it well, but there's a suddenness that Jake Fromm plays with. There's an instinctive nature that he has, and both Jim Chaney and Kirby Smart said he might be the furthest along true freshman quarterback from an intellect standpoint, a football IQ standpoint, they've ever worked with.
Missouri brings the blitz, and Fromm able to complete it to Javon Wims for a gain of 7. When you watch Jake Fromm play, what do you see that suggests that he's further advanced than his age would indicate?
It's not just the pre-snap adjustments. He does a ton of that. He'll get them in the right play in the run game. It's the very quick post-snap adjustments in the RPO. He sees a linebacker flow or react, and he's able to pull that ball and deliver it accurately and decisively.
Talking with offensive coordinator Jim Chaney, so this guy's hard to trick. How much he hadn't seen, and he's only a freshman. Fromm, another deep ball and another completion to Javon Wims. And Georgia's got another first down. They're doing it through the air here early. That's what Jim Chaney said they might do, get aggressive through the air.
Yeah, Tom, they really want to start to develop Jake Fromm as a passer. You see him in the pocket here. It's just a smash concept. They love this. You got someone low, you have a corner, it's high-low, you got one read. Read number 17, the corner here. He bites low. Javon Wims open in the second level.
Not bad for a former basketball player. Wims, a couple of catches here early. On the jet sweep, they put it in the hands of Hardman. And Nicole Hardman has a first down and plenty. He's going to take it in from 35 yards out. With another number 4, Champ Bailey in the house. Nicole Hardman took this one to the house.
Yeah, Hardman's a track guy. They didn't have a natural position coming in. They tried him at DB. He's now found his home at slot receiver. They do a ton of things with him in the backfield. And you saw right there how much he can hurt you with his feet.
Rodrigo Blankenship punches through the point after. 7 plays, 91 yards, and a plethora of backs to tote the rock for Georgia. This time it's the sophomore Nicole Hardman with his 2nd touchdown of the year.
Saturday night is presented by Holiday Inn Express. Be the readiest.
Well, they got some stars in the building tonight. Terrell Davis, a Hall of Famer, 2-time Super Bowl champ. Remember, he started his college career at Long Beach State. They folded the program. How do you fold the program when you got a Hall of Famer in the backfield? They shared one with Garrison Hurst once he got between the hedges. Nice luncheon to honor him yesterday, and a lot of his former teammates back in the building this weekend. 1 of 2 former Georgia running backs in the Hall of Fame, in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. 1 of 3 total. Georgia wastes no time. 3 minutes to score on their opening drive, and Missouri will get another crack at it. No return for Larry Roundtree. Here's the score for Georgia.
And Tom, looks like confusion in the secondary. You have no force player. This is cornerback DeMarcus AC. He's not going to get there in time, and you're going to notice with the misdirection in the backfield, fullback Christian Payne comes, and that's the block that springs Hardman for the touchdown. Just a miscommunication on the secondary. Every DB was within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage, and no one forcing the ball inside on the boundary. Makes it easy on Georgia.
Missouri wants to be an up-tempo offense. That's what Georgia has prepared for, but it was the Dogs that went NASCAR pace on their first possession. Opportunity to run it, nothing doing with Jonathan Johnson. Maybe got one on what is a pass for Drew Lock.
And an important drive here. Missouri has not been good starting in the first quarter. They have got off the slow starts. It seemed like it's taken a little bit for Locke to get in rhythm. See if they give him some better completions. They tried some screens on that first series, but they've struggled in the first quarter to get going.
They're down 13-0 to Kentucky last Saturday night before making a game of it in the second half. Georgia brings 5. Locke unloads. Deep ball. Too much, and Emmanuel Hall seemed to slow as he tried to find the football.
Boy, this is actually a really good throw by Drew Lock. Emmanuel Hall hit a couple big plays last week. You're going to see him just run right by J.R. Reed, and he kind of loses it. You see him look up. I don't think he knew where the ball was. He lost half a step. Really don't think that one was Drew Lock's fault.
Missouri 3rd in the nation with 9 plays of 50 yards or more. That would have been the 10th and gotten him on the board. Instead, 3rd down 9.
Georgia showing pressure here. I think they're going to...
Trevor Sims, the right guard, came out of his stance.
False start. Offense. Number 75. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
These are killers, Tom. Mental mistakes early. This is why Missouri hasn't been able to start fast. It's these false start penalties. What I was about to say is Georgia's in a 3-down front. I think those linebackers were going to pop out. I think they were going to drop 8 into coverage there in a 3rd and 10 situation. I imagine they'll do the same here in 3rd and 15.
Tigers were trying to get a timeout before that snap. Couldn't get it before Sims moved. They already had to use 1 timeout on defense to get a line. On 3rd and 14, they'll run it with Crockett. And he takes it out to the 30 with a gain of 8. So Drew Lock and Missouri's offense will come off the field after their 2nd possession. Another 3 and out. They'll try to flex their muscles with their punter, Corey Fatone.
And look who's back there.
Averaging better than 11 yards per punt return. Dogs came after it, and it's a line drive off the foot of Fatone. It's going to look really good in the scorebook. Will trickle down inside the 15-yard line. That's a 58-yard punt for Corey Fatone. Georgia's back on offense when we return. Clayton is bringing you a look at how UGA 10 has it made on game days. He stays in UGA's suite at the Georgia Hotel. Game day, he gets a bath by the Seiler family. Then he pulls on his red Georgia jersey, hops in his SUV with his personalized plates, and heads to the game. It's his own parking spot, and then into the air-conditioned doghouse. You actually were in there before the game today.
Yeah.
Was it as cool as it seems with the air conditioning and the ice bag?
I was trying to warm it back up for Uga. It's pretty roomy in there. I messed up your coffee order, so you put me in the doghouse.
Yes, I did. Good luck getting out of it. Nick Chubb in the backfield for Georgia. Second possession for Jake Fromm and the Dogs. Here's Chubb. Well, Cole got a chance to snap a couple photos before the game. Here's my man in the doghouse. Didn't quite fit, huh?
No, I couldn't quite get all the way in there.
Stay with us, Uga. Time for a nap. Don't blink when Georgia has the ball. They score fast. They want to go fast. And then they have Sonny Michel in the backfield. Fromm to the slant. And that's complete to Terry Godwin. And the ball came loose. It was a gain of 6 if he was down.
It's an RPO. Well, we were talking about it earlier. Fromm's post-snap reactions are so quick. Cale Garrett, number 47 from Missouri there, blitzed last second, and Fromm pulled it out, hit Godwin just for a couple yards. Ooh.
Third and 1, and some movement up front.
Before the snap, false start on the offense. 5-yard penalty, third down.
They're down 6 now for Jake Fromm. DeAndre Swift is now in the backfield. Mizzou brings 4. Fromm fires, and it's intercepted by Cale Garrett. A one-handed snag, and the Tigers have it at the 5-yard line on Garrett's second pick of the season.
Oh, we just got done praising him, Tom. This is one of the things when you're a young quarterback, sometimes you make that decision on pass plays before the snap. This is just a horizontal stretch play. You have a running back coming out of the backfield. The linebacker expands. You go to the tight end, but you got to be careful there, and you got to get to your third read, which would be Riley Ridley coming from the left side. The more football he plays, the more he sees. See him just stare down the receiver there. That's easy. Easy for Cale Garrett. Watching the quarterback's eyes there.
Missouri's turnover margin has been horrible all season, trying to turn that around. Tigers having to deal with the crowd. Ish Witter in the backfield. Here's Witter. And he powers his way for a gain of 2. Witter coming off of 139 yards. Better than 8 yards a carry Saturday night against Kentucky. He was Mr. Reliable late as the Tigers came just short in their comeback bid in the Bluegrass.
The forgotten man at times, but last week, Josh Heupel went with a hot hand, and Witter was fantastic.
Little option look. Drew Lock, shovel pass, touchdown, Albert Okwuegbunam.
And I love this play call, Tom. Just about to say, they might take a shot on the outside to a fade, use the physical height of the receivers they have, and they come out with a sprint option with a backside shovel pass to the tight end. This is just great job by Drew Lock. You can see number 7 there. Lorenzo Carter tried to slow play that, and Lock made the great decision. It's a good play call. Missouri needed that.
Yeah, big time. Second touchdown catch of the season for Okwuegbunam. Lock's 14th touchdown pass. It was all set up by this interception from Cale Garrett, the sophomore from Kearney, Missouri. He gave the Tigers great field position, and Lock runs this play to perfection. We're locked at 7. All right, Dari, thanks. How about those Florida uniforms, huh? They're kind of blending in.
I dig them.
Steve Spurrier Field, yeah.
I like them. They got a lot of feedback. Some of it not great on social media. I love them. But the players do too.
Barry Odom's got to love that takeaway from Missouri's defense, which set him up with a short field. Jake Fromm will get another crack at it. Tucker McCann will kick off. Meet Cole Hardeman back for Georgia. Upset Saturday in college football, really an upset weekend. 2 of them last night on ESPN, 3 more today, and it was Auburn suffering its first loss of the season as LSU moved to 2-1 in the West.
And that's why we love college football. Just when you think a week's going to be a sleeper, no big matchups, and this is what happens.
Georgia, only undefeated team in the East. Jacob Eason holding the clipboard now, talking with offensive coordinator Jim Chaney and Kirby Smart, and they said, listen, we got no problem going to Jacob Eason if the situation calls for it. It was almost as if they were saying, if we get into a real passing situation, if we trail and we need to throw the football, we'll go to Eason. We'll go to Chubb here, and he's unable to find any room. Rashad Brandon with a tackle behind the line of scrimmage. It's a loss of 3.
Brandon, a 6'3", 300-pound redshirt junior. This is something that Kirby and Jim Chaney both mentioned. This will probably be the draw off the edge, and you saw Rashad Brandon right there. Keep an eye on that.
Play action. Fromm pulls it back from Michelle and fires outside to Isaac Nauta. Makes it to the 30. Cole?
Tom, going to be a bit of a chess match up front, but the Georgia offensive line and Missouri defensive line. You heard Jordan hit on those guys. They're very active. They're a group that slants and stunts. They like to do a lot of different things to try to penetrate and disrupt. You want to guess right and not go with that slant. If you do, they're going to get big plays. If you can guess incorrectly, obviously, Missouri's D-line could have a big day. They've won a few and guessed right on that defensive side of the football here early.
Rick Haley, the defensive line coach. Fromm unloads another one down the sideline to Javon Wims. And Jake Fromm has found a soft spot in the Missouri defense when Wims has found the sideline.
That's a big-time throw. This is cover 2. You got a flat route and a vertical on the outside. Most of the time, teams will cheat a little bit because that is such a long throw. Jake Fromm may not have the arm that Jacob Eason has, but he's got plenty to get it out there, and he's going 6 ways. Going 6-way quite a bit already tonight.
3 of the 7 completions have come to Wims. Here's Sony Michel. No gain on first down. The defensive line coming up again. Walter Palmore out of Columbus, Georgia, alongside Kobe Whiteside in on the stop. Whiteside, just a freshman. It's a young front for Missouri. Trying to get more snaps for Terry Beckner, number 5, as he's coming off another knee injury. Barry Odom hopeful the more snaps they can get Beckner, the more effective they can be up front. Another play action look from incomplete. Trying to find his tight end Charlie Warner, and that's going to leave 3rd down 10.
You're noticing the trend already. Jim Chaney mentioned that he wanted to get from some hacks. He wanted to get him some opportunities on 1st and 2nd down to work through progression. Something they'll need moving on down the road. Not looking past this game at all, but developing Jake Fromm. You got to give him opportunities, and they're already doing that early and often tonight.
But they're left with a 3rd and 10 after failing to gain anything on the ground, then the incompletion. James up front from the Missouri defensive line again. Fromm back outside again. Riley Ridley, 21 yards and a Georgia first down.
Boy, he looks impressive already. What I love about that, you have an incompletion, you have an interception, and you come right back out on the field and stare down that barrel. Stepping up, moving to his left slightly, finding Riley Ridley on a deep out cut.
Georgia's run 16 plays. They've passed it on 10 of them. And already Fromm with 4 completions at 20 yards or more. This is a team that came into the game running it 73% of the time. Sony Michel, nowhere to go. Beckner throws him down alongside Cale Garrett. A loss of 1.
Boy, when Beckner's going, he is physical. You see him there just posting up the right guard and finishing the play. Barry Odom said he's getting healthier and more comfortable week in and week out. They're going to continue to push his reps as they feel he can continue to go.
A flyer from East St. Louis. Brian Herrien in the backfield now. Fromm got a man again. Wims incomplete off of his hands. As Ronell Perkins delivered a shot to his midsection when Wims left his feet.
Boy, Missouri's going to continue to give Georgia that honey hole throw. You call that a honey hole because it's past the flat defender corner and right before the safety, but Ronell Perkins, great job closing there on a ball that maybe didn't have quite the velocity needed to hit that. You want to hit that route, Tom, in between about 18 and 22 yards. Anything further than 22, that safety's got time to react, and that was a few yards past.
Fromm's pick came on third down. Sideline, back shoulder, caught, inbounds or not? Yes, touchdown, Riley Ridley.
They're pulling no punches early. I look at the location of that throw. Great coverage. Riley Ridley covered over the top. And savvy, you got to put this back shoulder right on the back ear. You want to throw that at the ear hole of the receiver. And that's an accurate throw by Fromm.
A 9-play drive capped by Fromm's 11th touchdown pass of the season. Rodrigo Blankenship, the Georgia kicker. And he pushes it through, but we've got a flag on the play. Georgia reclaims the lead thanks to their passing offense.
Offside on the defense. That penalty is declined. Point is good.
Fromm 9 of 12 for 143 yards, a touchdown and a pick here early. All-State's proud to be part of the team that comes together to do good by contributing to participating universities' general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kicked. To date, All-State has contributed millions in scholarship funds. Georgia a little schizophrenic and changing things up a little bit. Already 143 yards through the air for the Bulldogs.
And he's found those big physical receivers. Riley Ridley 6'2". Already hit number 6 Javon Wims a few times. He's 6'4". Boy, the weapons for a young quarterback. Got 2 of the best running backs in the country. He has some big, tall, athletic receivers on the outside.
A little bit surprised they've gone so pass happy here early.
Remember, we sat down with Jim Chaney. He said, I want to be a little more passy. Yeah, he was making up words.
That was the word to use.
But he said, you know, first, second down, we're going to take our opportunities. We don't want to get away from our identity. We're a running football team. But we're going to give Fromm opportunity against this secondary that's really struggled for Missouri.
They're ultra passing tonight. Missouri won't bring it out. And so 3:16 to go. So you talk about Georgia's plan of attack against Missouri, a team that has yet to win in the league this year. Are they trying to, this might sound silly, are they trying to win this game, or are they trying to set Jake Fromm up for a great second half of the season?
Well, they're trying to do both, and I think you can do both. You have a young quarterback. The worst thing you can do is handcuff him, right? Not allow him to develop as a passer, and then you just got to call plays, right? But it's got to be within the flow of the game. When you run the ball well, like Georgia does, that opens up the play action, it opens up the intermediate zones, and you see them attack that a few times already.
9 of 12 for 142. A touchdown, but an interception from Fromm. Missouri back on offense. Demarie Crockett able to find a couple of yards on first down, maybe one, and Georgia's able to converge on him almost immediately. Monty Rice, a freshman from Madison, Alabama, coming in for his first tackle of the night.
He's an impressive kid, thick. He'll come up and hit you.
On 2nd and 9, back to Crockett, and he almost sprung free. We'll see where they mark him. Looks like Missouri will be facing a 3rd and 1.
Crockett's a good back. I know Ish Witter had all the numbers last week, but he's as explosive as anybody you'll see. He's an NFL body type. He's big. He's physical. I'm gonna get him going tonight.
1,000-yard rusher last year. 3rd down 1. Middle blitz, lock option. Crockett is able to get there. The timing wasn't perfect, but it works out. Gain of 4.
There's a little confusion there.
Yeah.
Drew Lock was faking to nobody and then running a speed option.
Drew Lock doesn't look like a running quarterback. You didn't really look like a running quarterback at Vanderbilt. But you did. You ran it successfully.
Yeah, you can be effective, right? All they need Drew Lock to do on some of those option plays is affect the defensive end or at least cause him to pause.
There's Jamon Moore with his first catch of the night. It goes for 9. They have lost it at the end. And a little bit of scuffling. Jamon Moore is going to draw a flag here. Andy Hill, his wide receivers coach, not happy with him. That's the kind of mistake Missouri can't afford to make. And Jamon Moore is going to come out of this game for at least a play. Jamon Moore is a 1,000-yard receiver last year, but he just doesn't put together.
The catch. After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 6 on the defense. Correction, on the offense. 15-yard penalty. That's number 6's first of the game.
He just doesn't put together consistent games, and he gets frustrated really easily. He may have NFL talent. I'm not sure he has NFL focus.
Yeah, focus and consistency is really what this Missouri staff is wanting to see more of from Jamon Moore. You just got to let it go there. I know that doesn't look like much, but those refs are savvy. They know you're trying to do a little something extra after the play. And a guy like Jamon Moore, he plays with a chip and an edge, which is really good. He's got to know when to control it.
It turns into a 2nd and 17 instead of a 2nd and 2.
Killer. Can't have that on the road against Georgia. Mental mistakes will kill you.
Quick to the outside. And Dominic Collins, who just entered the game for Jamon Moore, has his first catch. It's a gain of 6.
See how quick he gets it out? These two quarterbacks, Fromm and Locke, as you see Georgia completely confused.
Nobody was set. Even the officials weren't set.
There was a substitution in process. Therefore, the ball should not have been snapped. It's 3rd down.
If Missouri substituted, and the defense should get an opportunity to substitute as well. And Barry Odom is saying, listen, we didn't substitute. Fastest offense in college football per play. I don't think I saw anybody come off the field from Missouri. And officials cost the Tigers an opportunity there. 3rd 11. Block will unload. Wide open, Emmanuel Hall. He's got this one, and he's got 6. '63-yard strike from Drew Lock, the 10th play of 50 yards or more for Missouri's offense this season. That is 3rd best in the country. Remember, Hall missed on an opportunity earlier this quarter, and one that he may have lost in the lights. Didn't lose that one. And Drew Lock's got his 15th passing touchdown of the year.
You give him time, he's going to hurt you. You're going to see Georgia's going to bring some pressure off the edge here. We're going to have some rotation. It's J.R. Reed's eyes that get fooled. You're going to see here, Lock wants to go down the middle to Rashad Floyd. Gets fooled by his eyes. Emmanuel Hall just continues his route, just on a 9 route vertical. Really, the play's not designed to go to Hall, designed to go up the middle. That's why I discussed with Mel Tucker, what do you do against a quarterback that has this kind of arm? You have to be so disciplined with your eyes, and you have to realize a play is never dead. No matter if you're on the opposite sideline, a comeback wide to the field, or you're 60 yards downfield, he's got the ability to put it anywhere he wants.
One thing that stood out to me last week against Kentucky is when Drew Lock has time, he can make those plays.
Oh, yeah. Tom, when he has time, he's one of the most talented passers in really the entire country, let alone this league.
They're going to be thinking out loud again tomorrow night at 7 o'clock Eastern. Marcus and McElroy will talk about all the football news of the week, both sides of the ball. They want your participation via social media. They may just show that picture of Jordan in the doghouse.
Bet they will.
Do live call-ins throughout the show. Also available streaming live on the ESPN app. Another home run ball for Drew Lock. Jamon Moore sat the second half of that series after drawing the 15-yard penalty. We'll see if he returns to the game or how soon from Missouri. Ryan Harrion in the backfield. High scoring first quarter already. And Harrion is able to knife his way for a gain of 7. Brandon Lee the tackle. Nick Chubb and Sony Michel came in with a combined 12 touchdowns and over 1,000 yards rushing. Slow start tonight.
Yeah, they really haven't been able to establish the line of scrimmage. And Barry Odom mentioned since he took over as DC, he has really relied on Brick Haley, the D-line coach, to find tendencies of the offense so he can know how to pressure, know how to run stunt. Early on, they've got Georgia's offense figured out, and they're really stymieing those two really good backs.
Georgia looks like a different team through the air. Missouri looks like they looked last week. Success through the air. Tied at 14. Is there another upset in the making? Scores in the first quarter for the first time since the opener against Missouri State. She put 2 scores on the board. And I guess we shouldn't be surprised in this upset Saturday and Friday in college football that Missouri is right there with the 4th-ranked team in the country. Georgia having a hard time getting the ground game going. Not something I expected to say tonight. 2nd and 3 with Nick Chubb in the backfield. Chubb changes direction behind the line. He's got a first down and a hurdle. He takes it for 19 after clearing a man.
He's dynamic, explosive, given opportunity. It's the double teams to the left side there, and then Javon Wims with a great block on the outside on DeMarcus Acey really opens that up, and that's what's special about this player.
And right over the top of Thomas Wilson. Well, Edwin Moses action.
He's so physical, you want to go low, and then he'll make you pay for it.
Fire up the flux capacitor for some of those great hurdlers in the past. Here's Chubb, able to get past the line of scrimmage, maybe for one. Cale Garrett's had a busy day at middle linebacker for Mizzou.
And Chubb's vision is so good. You'd like to have a running back have lanes, but where he's going, sometimes you don't need lanes.
Well, roads or not, he's with elite company. Herschel Walker's still the class of the league with over 5,200 yards in his time here between the hedges. And Chubb now 6th all time.
Boy, some of the names on that list, and he's gonna pass a few more before he's done.
Terry Godwin able to turn the corner. Another Georgia first down.
Pass is complete to number 5, Terry Godwin.
Gain of 9 that time.
Another RPO, great decision there by Jake Fromm. Looks like they're trying to push the pace here. I really like it. You want to keep momentum on your side. You want to capitalize on that. And even more importantly, this front 7 for Missouri is very, very thin. They play a lot of guys, but they don't have a lot of depth. If you can get them tired, you're going to wear them down and see that running game start to really pick up.
Fromm already halfway to 300. Here's Sony Michel. Sony Michel off to the races. Not going to kill him. 36-yard.
I said it, no drop off when he's in the game. You give him a lane, he's going to take it as well. Missouri just, they have no contain right now. Nobody on the outside is forcing these runs back inside.
Blankenship's point after is good. Georgia has its 3rd lead of the night. Uga happy with it. We'll see if Missouri can answer again. Sony Michel shares the backfield and an apartment with Nick Chubb. And he's the first of that duo to find the end zone tonight. 21-14, Georgia. Here are our tailgaters of the week, brought to you by Zaxby's. Perfect tailgating weather this Saturday afternoon. Gorgeous day in the Classic City. And everybody's mood's a little bit brighter thanks to a 6-0 start on this homecoming and the couple of the night. And
Still got it.
Still got it.
Better dancers, and they're stronger than you.
I'm I'm a little bit worried for him, though. Georgia's already put 21 on the board. Larry Roundtree grabs it off of a hop. And he gets spun around at the 15-yard line. Sony Michel is lightning to Nick Chubb's thunder, and this dude took off.
And once again, you're going to see the motion here is going to pull in this cornerback, and then you're going to have no contained players once again for Missouri. It's a seal on the outside by Godwin on that safety. And the corner, who should be an outside contain, is lost and out of position. You can't give that much grass to Sony Michel.
It's a zizzer of a run for this senior from Plantation, Florida.
Tell you what, though, Tom, these receivers for Georgia, when you break long runs, most often it's a receiver springing a block. And Terry Godwin was challenged last year by Kirby Smart to be more physical and a better blocker. You're seeing that early.
Wildcat from Missouri. Drew Lock split out. Demarie Crockett takes the snap. Kind of taken over the SEC, the Wildcat, isn't it? And when you start talking about great backfields in SEC history, you talk a little bit about Georgia's, obviously, and what they have this year. And everybody takes you back to Darren McFadden and those guys at Arkansas who first started running the Wildcat.
I remember that. Wait, what is that? Where's the quarterback? Sure. I mean, every team now has a version of it. A lot of times in the red zone, but here we go again with the Wildcat.
Locks over the line. They say he's good. Crockett runs right into his center, Tristan Castillo, and there's no gain. So Wildcat on back-to-back plays, and that's going to leave Missouri in a passing situation on third down.
Yeah, this is something they practiced a ton of Kentucky week. This guy right here, number 49, that's a reserve offensive lineman, Alec Abelin, who started working at fullback last week, practicing it for Kentucky. They liked it so much, like, hey, let's throw 49 on you and put you in the backfield. He'd never lined up there before.
They're down 7. Lock. Jump ball caught by Okuwebunam. And Missouri has a 17-yard gain. That's a 6'5" freshman out of Springfield, Illinois, and he's got some hops.
It's a big athletic target. Josh Heupel mentioned the versatility of their tight ends has really opened up this offense. They can keep them in there and run and block and had success doing that, and then they make plays on the outside just as easily.
Lock takes another shot. Hall again. Emmanuel Hall with a big gain and a touchdown for Missouri. 63 yards. Same number he put up last quarter.
Boy, Georgia's got to fix something because Emmanuel Hall, these plays aren't even designed to necessarily be shots to number 84, but the coverage on the outside, that's cover 3, and he just ran straight by Tyreek McGee. Right by him.
This is the best passing offense Georgia has faced this season. Previously, that would belong to Appalachian State. Nationally ranked in the 70s in passing offense. They've been great against dual threat quarterbacks. Drew Lock is straight drop back. And he's beaten them with a couple of long balls and 3 passing touchdowns already for Drew Lock. Emmanuel Hall has a pair of them, both of them from 63 yards out. Lock drops this one in perfectly, and Hall does the rest. We are tied at 21, less than 5 minutes into the second quarter. All right, Dari, thanks. Arkansas trying to do it with their second-string quarterback tonight against the best team in the country. Meanwhile, Drew Lock in this offense firing on all cylinders. Couple of deep balls. 3 touchdown passes for the Mizzou quarterback. Here's Mecole Hardman. Hesitated. Brought it out. Gets a block. And Hardman dragged down at the 23-yard line.
Yeah, Tom, there's no disguise here. This is cover 3. He should be deep. Tyreek McGee should be deep, and this safety has deep third as well. You're going to see top of the screen, Tyreek McGee, he should be on press bail. That's not man-to-man. He should be deep as soon as the ball is snapped. He should bail right away. Cover 3, you should not get beat deep. They're not bringing pressure. They're playing 3 over the top. We're going to have to see a scheme change here. I think they're going to have to start bringing some pressure. You can't give Drew Lock that much time.
First time Georgia has allowed 20 points or more this year. Now Tucker working with his DBs. Kirby Smart was a defensive back here for Georgia back in the day. Here's Nick Chubb. Gain of 6 on first down. That was a first down shot that Drew Lock took to find Emmanuel Hall. Did you anticipate 42 points being on the board?
No, not at all. But don't expect Georgia to panic here. Jim Chaney, football's simple. Run the ball, don't turn it over, play defense. They're going to make some fixes here, but they're going to continue to run the football.
Elijah Holyfield, the lead blocker on this little jet sweep. And Akil Crumpton is able to find just one. Georgia has already lined up 5 different guys in the backfield. And while I appreciate the depth and the versatility, you would think that against this Missouri rushing defense, which is 98th in the country, you might just keep Chubb and Michelle in there to try to build something.
Yeah, you know, I know they have DeAndre Swift, Elijah Holyfield, Brian Harry, and all those guys bring something a little different than Sony and Nick. But right now, when you need it most, go to your horses.
Michelle back there now. Missouri only brings 4. Fromm is able to find his tight end. That's Charlie Warner. And he's got plenty of room. And he's following the lead. And Chubb with a hurdle. He's at inside the 25. 49-yard run for Charlie Warner. Wow.
6'5", 245, and he says, hey, Nick, I can do this too. It's just a mesh concept. Fromm does a great job of stepping up, delivering the ball slightly off target, but great adjustment by tight end Charlie Warner.
Up tempo, Terry Godwin, no gain. Some extra hit and run out. Perkins first man there. Must be in the water here between the hedges.
Tom, you played some tight end in your day. Do you have that in the repertoire?
No, no, I did not.
Shake it up on the play.
Adam Sparks, the freshman from Baton Rouge, is the one who got
Not even quite a full hurdle, more a little bunny hop. Still impressive.
enough to clear the Athens phone book. And Terry Godwin shaken up for Georgia. They landed on the ball when he went down.
Fromm checking some. Imagine they're going to get back to the run here.
Godwin really went down awkwardly at the end of that last play. Michelle. And we got a flag on the play.
Block in the back. Offense. Number 8. 10-yard penalty. Second half.
That's Riley Ridley. Younger brother of Alabama's Calvin Ridley has the longest receiving streak in the SEC. Calvin Ridley and Alabama having no problem tonight with Arkansas.
Last scrimmage is the Missouri 30 following the penalty against the Dogs. Second and 20.
I don't know how much he actually clipped. Another adjustment at the line of scrimmage here. This looks like a pass adjustment.
Missouri bringing the pressure. Fromm escapes, and he can't get far. Beckner in there to clean it up, and Missouri's got a sack and a loss of 2. Terry Beckner from East St. Louis, torn ACL last year against Middle Tennessee State. In 2015, tore his ACL and MCL in that November game against BYU.
He's talented. We're going to continue to get him in better condition, healthier. I know we're still monitoring his reps during the game, but boy, we just straight beat Solomon Kinley on that one.
Fromm to the outside. That's complete to Hardman. And he'll be brought down at the 20. It's a gain of 12. And that'll bring on Blankenship in a kicking situation. Rodrigo Blankenship. As you see, Terry Godwin, junior from Hogansville, Georgia, head back to the Bulldogs locker room. Blankenship 6 of 7 field goals this season. Kirby Smart awarded him with a scholarship right before a game against Notre Dame. Announced it after that big win in South Bend. This would be from 37. He hasn't missed from inside 40 this year. They will hug the upright but get through. Plenty of leg for Rodrigo Blankenship. sophomore out of Sprayberry High School. Drew Lock licking his chops, ready to get back on offense. The first time Georgia held to just 3 instead of 7. And Blankenship has the Dogs in front again. Welcome back to SEC Saturday Night, presented by Holiday Inn Express. Surprising score between the hedges. Number 4, Georgia, undefeated on the season. A field goal lead over Missouri, 24-21. Sony Michel, the touchdown run tonight for Georgia. Backfield mate Nick Chubb, 32 yards on 7 carries to start. Roundtree won't have a chance for a return. Been a good day so far for Drew Lock. Not sure if we've mentioned the initials RPO tonight, but this is the original RPO, a little option look. And he's going to shovel it forward for his first touchdown pass. Then he went deep, not once, but twice to Manuel Hall. Hall second in the nation in yards per catch. Well, that average has been up big time tonight. A pair of 63-yard strikes as he got behind the Georgia secondary on multiple occasions. Drew Lock in Missouri with 3 touchdown passes. First couple of drives, they couldn't get it going. Since then, Lock's found that Georgia secondary to be vulnerable.
And you can't wait till halftime to make adjustments. Let's see how Georgia adjusts to this deep passing game that Missouri's found success on.
Ish Witter, left side. Cole Kubelik on the field.
Tom, paying attention to that Georgia defense during the last break, and you saw Davin Bellamy, defensive end, come down to the DBs and say, listen, we don't want this to turn into a track meet. Make it stop now.
I don't know if that's possible right now. The pressure will do it, and they're able to bat it away. And that's the question. Drew Lock, when he has time, can pick you apart. He's got an NFL arm, right? So why not bring more pressure for Georgia?
Yeah, and that's what we're going to see a little bit more of. Traditionally, this defense and what they do allows you to play base coverage, but they're not getting to him. Got to find ways to do that.
Bellamy playing with a club on that left hand. He said it's like carrying around a weight, another 3.5, 4 pounds. Third down, 8. Lock deep over the middle and picked off. Intercepted by Dominic Sanders. Second pick of the season for Sanders. And he stays on his feet. Looked more like Barry Sanders to keep his balance. And he's got Georgia and Missouri territory. The senior from Tucker, Georgia with the pick.
Tom, this is just a poor decision by Drew Lock. They've run the same play. It's the same play that Emmanuel Hall scored on twice. And they, on the sideline, they must have said, hey, they're probably expanding now. You might be able to hit Jonathan Johnson up the seam. He stared it down. He threw it. Backside safety is watching Drew Lock's eyes the whole way.
Just passed his coach on Georgia's career interception list. Sony Michel in the backfield for Georgia. Fromm wants a deep ball. They'll go intermediate instead, and wide open is Javon Wims. Cut down at the 22, a gain of 19. DeAndre Swift, the freshman from Philly, in the backfield now. Already a big night for Fromm, 234 through the air.
Hall's a guy that was all over the field last week against Kentucky. He's disruptive, but Barry Odom said he's finally playing one spot. They've moved him inside, outside, off the edge. He's finally understanding this scheme at that will linebacker position. He's playing fast. He's playing well.
Just down the road in Lithonia, Georgia. Fromm's going to keep this one. And he spins his way just shy of a first down. Ronell Perkins got to him. And that's going to leave 3rd and 1. Fromm had 4 carries for 42 yards last week against Vandy. He can do this.
That's one of the things he does different than Jacob Eason. He's a little more mobile. He's not a guy that's going to beat you for 40 yards, but you got a zone read, that end hesitates or bites on the run, he'll hurt you.
3rd and 1. Nick Chubb hasn't been on the field this possession for Georgia. It's Sony Michel again now. Swift on the jet sweep. He's got a first down. Ducks inside the 5. And DeAndre Swift sets up Georgia. 2nd and goal now.
That spot Swift's in used to be occupied a lot by Sony Michel. They said once Swift stepped on campus, he's the best route runner they have. Best out of the backfield. Continue to find ways to get him the ball. Jet sweeps, toss sweeps. You'll see him catch a few as well.
Pardon me, 1st and goal for Georgia. This is Michel. And he takes it to the 4 before Missouri takes him down. Marcel Frazier. 5th-year senior out of Portland, Oregon. Michel averaging 9 yards a carry. He was great after contact last week against Vandy. Sony Michel averaged 10.5 yards per carry after contact. Second and goal. Fromm. Touchdown. Jake Fromm on the ground. Largest lead of the night for the Dogs. It was set up by Dominic Sanders' interception. Georgia had the short field to work with it. No Nick Chubb on this possession for Georgia. No worry. Jake Fromm carried it a couple of times. Sanders able to pick off Drew Lock on 3rd and long. And then Jake Fromm able to hit pay dirt. 3rd rushing touchdown of the season for the freshman. All right, Dari, thanks. That's kind of how J-Raj and I do it. It's all or nothing in the booth, too. Those pants are all or nothing. Trousers looking good. You left your suspenders at home tonight, Jordan.
You noticed. Yeah, changing things up.
Pick out the braces next week, okay? We had the app fired up this afternoon watching that LSU win. Left Miles ate grass at the half, and oh, behold, LSU came back to win. The ESPN is a fan's best friend. You can stream every ESPN and ABC college football game live, at home, on the go, in the press box with a phone. Scores, news, highlights all season long, including a look at Jordan Rogers' golf game here between the hedges. Download the ESPN app to start streaming now. Thought your wedge game was pretty strong. You put a couple down on the turf here.
Yeah, quarterbacks always are good at golf. I'm not good.
Here's Crockett out of the backfield. And Crockett gets bottled up after a gain of 3. Demarie Crockett hit at the line of scrimmage, maybe found one. Roquan Smith, junior from Montezuma, Georgia, down in Macon County, had 11 tackles against Tennessee. Top 10 in the league in tackles this season. And it leaves Locke with a 3rd and 7 in this crowd. Bullet incomplete. Okuwebunam may have been the closest receiver. And Missouri needed some time on the clock to waste away because they've given up a couple scores without answering. They're down 10, and they're going to give it back to Georgia with 2.5 to go in the half.
We were wondering what adjustments were going to be made. Georgia brought pressure there. Able to play two-man behind it. Brought pressure right up the gut just in case Locke wanted to put the ball down and take off. A good adjustment there.
Corey Fatoni looking for some hang time but not much distance, and it'll take a Mizzou hop. A chance for a return for Hardman. It was a 41-yard punt. Coming up at the half, you can watch a live performance of the Georgia Redcoat Band over on SEC Network Plus. Start streaming now on the ESPN app. Prime got off to a great start through the air. See if they won't dial that up with 2:29 to go. 15 of 18 for 234 tonight.
Tom, he hasn't had double-digit completions since the first 2 games of the season. Asking a lot more of him tonight early on.
Nick Chubb back on the field for Georgia. Got a breather their last possession. Chubb almost worked his way through a tackle. Finds one. Missouri defensive line, Trey Williams at time has been really impressive thus far tonight, and that's something that Kirby Smart talked to us about yesterday. He's got a lot of respect for those guys.
A lot of respect for him, the physicality that they have up front. My only question was, are they going to be able to hold up? Not many guys. They rotate as much as possible. They got 3 guys out, Missouri does, on that front 7. 3 true freshmen will be getting time as well. And Trey Williams, as you just mentioned, a redshirt freshman. So a lot of youth up there. You're going to see rotating in and out.
One guy they're missing is A.J. Logan. He'll return from suspension next week. Here's Harrion. Nice move in the backfield, and he gets flipped. Adam Sparks. Remember, Sparks got hurdled a little bit earlier this quarter, and that time he took the legs out of Brian Harrion and sent him flying. Air shows in town this weekend. There's your loop-de-loop.
Great tuck at the end there so he didn't land on his head. Look at this. Whoop. He knew where he was at.
DeAndre Swift, freshman out of St. Joseph's Prep in Philadelphia with the carry. 65 seconds left in the half, and Georgia's got another one going to the locker room. That's Tyler Clark, who was starting in place of an injured Trenton Thompson on the Georgia defensive line. There's some miscommunication. Ridley going to the wrong side, and that's going to take some time off the clock. Fromm pulls it back. He's moving in the pocket.
Tom, I don't understand that. They have all their timeouts.
Yeah.
After you hit a run like that, you get a first down. Now you can push the pace, or just call timeout. Regather yourself. Say, okay, we got a minute, 2 timeouts. And drop what you want to do in the 2-minute drill. But they just wasted about 35 seconds there.
Missouri's got 2 timeouts remaining. If they get a stop here, maybe they can get the ball back. 2nd and 10.
Now, Nicole Hardman there. Thought they might go to the slot.
Instead, it's Michelle. Whoa! And he's supposed to be the lightning in the package. He just put DeMarcus Acey on his back. Wow. Sony Michel, 5'11", 215 pounds. And with power like that, you wouldn't think that his favorite 2 movies are Pitch Perfect and Pitch Perfect 2.
I did not know that. But Sony Michel, he's listed at 215. Chubb's listed at 225. And we stood there at practice with him yesterday. Sony looks bigger.
Yeah.
I mean, he is put together. And both these guys, when they see you square up, they're not going to shy away from
Injury
contact.
timeout against the defense. Georgia declines the 10-second runoff. It's 3rd down.
Marcus Acey finally helped off the field by the Missouri athletic training staff. Listen to this hit. much depth in that Missouri secondary. Now AC off the field.
Watch these slot receivers like out-breaking routes in this 2-by-2 set.
Clock rolling, 3rd and 4. Fromm over the middle, complete. As Charlie Warner's having a big day. Dad, pardon me, Uncle Scott in the College Football Hall of Fame. He's a great defensive back here at Georgia.
First charge timeout, Georgia. That's a 30-second timeout.
Second catch for Warner. They've looked at him 4 times tonight. Georgia, 20 seconds left to add to their lead before the half. Wednesday at 7 Eastern, the SEC Network creates Grant Shoe and All Access Pass in Georgia football for this game. They'll get never-before-seen footage and sounds from pregame and postgame. It's SEC Inside on the SEC Network and streaming live on the ESPN app. Georgia in control in the East. Undefeated. Got that Florida game coming up next. They won back-to-back division titles before Gary Pinkel and Missouri won back-to-back in 13 and 14. That last one was a thriller with Georgia and Alabama. Might be due for another one in Atlanta. This one at the new stadium. Ball on the 35-yard line. 20 seconds to go before the break. Dari Doring and Chiz back ready to take you through the halftime. From deep and incomplete. Riley Ridley was the intended receiver. Thomas Wilson had the coverage deep for Missouri along with Pruitt.
Yeah, Marcel Frazier here on a stunt. Actually just gets straight through. Provides a little pressure there. That one came out a little wobbly. Didn't quite have the distance Fromm would like to get. As you see, can't really step into that one with Frazier and Beckner bearing down on him. You can still use the middle of the field here, Tom. You got timeouts. Not relegated to the sideline just yet, even with 14 seconds left.
Michelle, first down. Clock to stop for the first down and then give Georgia time to use the timeout. That's what Kirby Smart will do. 8 seconds left on the clock.
Timeout, Georgia. That's a 30-second
In range for Blankenship for sure. You got a shot to the end zone if you want it.
And again, when you got these guys, why use the middle of the field? Just hand it off. Get 10 or 12.
It'd be about a 40-yarder from here for Rodrigo Blankenship. He's already hit a 37-yarder tonight.
8 seconds left. It's kind of in that in-between. I mean, you might have time to take a shot. You're at the 20, 23, 24-yard line right now.
He's spectacled Blankenship ready to go. He's got a unique look, doesn't he?
I don't care how you look. If it goes through the uprights, you're a friend in my book.
Had a game winner against Kentucky last year. By the way, if things continue down the road we're currently on, that Georgia-Kentucky game could be really, really important.
Come out in the heavy set here.
Probably try to get at the middle of the field for Hot Rod. And that's what Fromm will do. Yeah, it cost him a couple of yards, so.
Yeah. Interesting. I mean, you know, sometimes these kickers like to be on a hash. I've known a kicker that likes it right down the middle.
Final charge timeout, Georgia.
If you're on a hash, you can play a draw, play a fade.
Cole Rodrigo Blankenship has a pretty good mentor down on the sideline and at practice a couple times a week, doesn't he?
Tom, how cool is this? Kicker for the Super Bowl champion 1985 Chicago Bears, Kevin Butler, one-time all-time leading scorer here in the SEC. Spends 2 days a week at practice with the Georgia Bulldogs. He has one class left before he graduates in the spring. He is the kicking coach and has worked on the fundamentals. He told me the main thing that he's focused on with the kickers and the punters has been balance, repetitive balance. He sort of talked about it like a golf swing. And he said a lot of guys don't have a kicking coach, so they don't get into a rhythm. They don't have the same kind of practice every week. They have focused in on that.
Well, he would know. He won his flight of the member guests a few weeks ago, I understand. 43-yard attempt now for Blankenship. To the chagrin of our stats man in the booth, Greg Campbell. Here's from 43, and it is good. Proud teacher right there. Outrods hit a couple of big ones. Big one in the fourth quarter against Georgia to get this season started. Georgia will receive the second half kick. They've opened up a 34-21 lead. This half, they're going to need more of that to catch up with the fourth-ranked Dogs in the second half. Nicole Hardeman will bring it out from a yard deep. And he gets tripped up by taking it out just past the 20-yard line. Let's go down the field, check in with Cole Kublik.
Tom spoke to Missouri head coach Barry Odom on his way out of the locker room. I said, do you just keep taking shots? He looked at me, kind of smiled and said, yeah, absolutely. We think we can get over the top of this Georgia defense, but we must run the football as well. He said third down is going to be key. Have to help our defense out a little bit there, but we are going to continue to test this defense down the field. And
Kirby told you at the beginning of the half that can't let anybody get behind them. They got burned a couple of times on some long Drew Lock passes. Markel Etchie in the defensive line. Fantastic first half for Missouri, but Georgia has put up 407 yards of offense. 45 plays in the first half for Georgia. Nick Chubb got a block from his quarterback and is able to pick up 5 before Kel Garrett brought him down.
I imagine we'll see Georgia get back in rhythm here. We'll see Nick Chubb back on the field, only 33 yards in the first half. I think we'll see a lot heavier dose of him here in the second half. They'll take their shots. They'll still give Fromm a chance to push the ball into the intermediate zone, that 10 to 20 yard zone of the passing game, but they're going to establish the run game as much as possible.
Kel Garrett's been busy as he spies on Jake Fromm. Already 9 tackles tonight for Missouri's middle linebacker. Nobody out on Javon Wims, and Javon Wims turns it upfield. Turned about a 12-yard gain into a 16-yard gain. Thomas Wilson to stop for Mizzou.
And Tom, this is the RPO. This is a run pass, or excuse me, a run pass option, but it's a run play. I said they were going to stick to the run, but you cheat those linebackers. Jake Fromm is too good post-snap. He'll hurt you.
Those must be the most popular 3 initials in college football.
Absolutely.
These days. Everybody runs some sort of version of an RPO, a run pass option.
You may get sick of it, but this is what these two offenses do a majority of every single play.
Here's Chubb. He's their #1 run option. And if the one for Andrew Thomas may have had a few more. Picks up 9. Ran into his tackle.
Makes it tough on defenses. You really have to play balanced. Here, great job getting to the second level by the offensive line.
Chubb again. Able to elude 2 guys in the backfield and shove down one in the secondary. Nick Chubb, the senior from Cedartown, Georgia, is able to pick up 21.
Terez Hall comes straight through the hole. That's where that run was supposed to go, but Chubb bounces it to the outside. That's why he's so dangerous. He's got such elite vision. He can create better than, really, or as good as anybody in this league.
Second only to Herschel Walker in career rushing yards here at the University of Georgia. Sony Michel with an opportunity that time, and Terez Hall and Brandon Lee take him down in the backfield. Loss of 1.
Brandon Lee and Terez Hall will be back.
Four different backs carried the ball for Georgia in the first half. 5 of them played, including Elijah Holyfield. He was in there for a play or 2, but didn't get a carry. 2nd and 11. Michel. A he is just running over people. Thomas Wilson, the latest Tiger to get trucked. It's a gain of 17. Never good when you have grass stains on your back as a defender.
Not at all. And this is a young quarterback. He's going to notice that this corner is coming. He even points it out pre-snap. Has Javon Wims come inside a little bit, and that allows a one-on-one matchup with Sony Michel on the outside, and he's going to win that 9 times out of 10.
Jeb Blazevich, the tight end on the left side for Georgia. Fromm fires and incomplete. Thomas Wilson in on that play, but maybe still shaking his head from the play before. He and DeMarcus Acey have both been run over by the same train.
Oh, just a shoulder. Shiver. You know what they teach there, Tom? Same foot, same shoulder. You want to deliver a hit, you got to have that right shoulder down. You got to have that right foot in the ground as you deliver contact.
Chubb in the game now. He's running through tackles. He's able to pick up a couple treads, all there to bring him down. Chubb coming off of a 100-yard game against Vandy. So is Michel. And now they'll mix it up with the freshman DeAndre Swift in the backfield. Runs all the way around. Georgia has converted 9 of 11 third downs, and Fromm 8 of 9 for a $198 and a touchdown on third down tonight. To Swift and off of his fingertips. And Rodrigo Blankenship back on the field.
Yeah, they love this combination. They get Swift out to the short side. It's just Fromm needs to put that a little higher. Not sure it would have resulted in a first down, but inaccurate pass there.
29-yard attempt for Rodrigo Blankenship. Everything's good on Georgia's end. Hot Rod bangs another one through, and Georgia's got a 37-21 lead on Mizzou. Next Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern, the SEC Nation traveling pregame show heads to T-Town. They'll be in Tuscaloosa to break down everything from the gridiron to the grill for Week 8. I understand Timmy Tebow had to save the day today. Save the kid at the end of the show.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, little Paul Feinbaum.
Oh, how great was that?
Yeah, pretty good. He picked Chubb to win this game. I'm not sure he was far off.
No. Also picked Lorenzo Carter as his freak of the week.
Yeah.
He is.
The numbers were impressive, weren't they?
Unbelievable.
Larry Roundtree back for Missouri. Georgia scores on its opening possession the second half. Bulldogs still haven't punted tonight. And Roundtree will take a knee. Here's a look at the top 10. Alabama not having many issues with Arkansas tonight. Clemson got upset last night up at the Carrier Dome in Syracuse, and Georgia fans ecstatic to see that. Downtown was abuzz with that. Late last night, a couple of losses, including Wazoo dropped one on the road to Cal in Berkeley late last night, and Auburn with its first loss of the season at LSU. Its second loss, pardon me. They also lost to Clemson, first conference loss. Trulock fakes the pitch. He gets pressured. It is a loose football. Missouri doesn't fall on it. Now they say incomplete. Davin Bellamy grabbed it. Jonathan Ledbetter forced it out, but it looked live like Locke's arm was coming forward.
This is what we need here. There's no blitz here. It's just a pressure inside release there by Jonathan Ledbetter. He gets through. And when you get through, you go for the ball. Look at that big hand on the opposite side there. Trying to create a big play. See if they can keep up that pressure on Locke.
John Atkins, a big presence in the middle for Georgia, number 97. Roundtree gets his first carry of the game and is able to find 3. Atkins with the stop. John Vondavius Mario Atkins, senior out of Thompson, Georgia. Already graduated last fall. And now Georgia looking at a 3rd and 8. Lock, sideline, too strong. Trying to find Jamon Moore. DeAndre Baker deep for Georgia, and Missouri will have to punt it away.
And a low snap there to Locke. I tell you, in the quarterback position, you think it's a small thing, but those low snaps throw off your timing. Everything kind of speeds up for you. Boy, you're always a little bit off when your eyes get taken away.
Drew Lock's going to have to visit a seamstress before they come back on the field. Gets away from Fatoni. Corey Fatoni gets taken down at the 10. Lorenzo Carter with the stop. Missouri has had snapping issues all season long. It came to a head Saturday night at Kentucky. So they replaced James Workman with Drew Wise, a freshman out of Lawrence, Kansas. And something got sideways on the snap to Fatoni.
Yeah, Tom, it hits the shoulder here. Number 49, he's a little early. Got to wait for that ball to pass. You want to close down that. The 3 in front want to lock arms, but you have to wait for that football to pass. You actually saw it from camera right down the line. It was a good snap.
It's Alec Abelin, offensive line, and I also see some time in the backfield for Missouri. Costly special teams mistake. Second takeaway for Georgia in that regard, and Chubb gets taken down for a loss behind the line of scrimmage. DeMarcus Acey in for the stop. A little chippiness late. It's Marcel Frazier.
It's kind of late on him. Make sure he's down. It's not the NFL. That knee goes down, he's done. I'd be surprised if they end up taking a shot into the end zone here at some point.
Brom's already thrown 1 touchdown pass tonight. He's going to keep it again, and he'll get wrestled to the ground after picking up 1. He took some shots there late. Perez Hall had him wrapped up. A couple Tigers able to tee off on the freshman quarterback. You know, when you don't huddle, your offensive line can stay in guys' faces. That's what Lamont Gilliard was doing with one of the Tigers. And the officials trying to step in, keep the emotions tamped down. Sony Michel in the backfield.
Keep an eye on 16 here in the closest slot.
Akil Crumpton. Fromm staring at him. Now he's got to change, and he's chased. And he only had Truman open.
That's where they were going. Man coverage, red zone combination. You want to try to hit a corner route. That number 3 receiver there, Crumpton in the slot. They like that corner route from inside. Got beat off the ball, off the release. Messed up the timing and never got there.
This will be a 27-yard attempt for Rodrigo Blankenship. He's 3 for 3 tonight. He came in with 6 field goals on the season. And he's got 4 tonight. Not much going wrong for Kirby Smart's Bulldogs tonight. But Missouri with a key mistake in special teams. That gave Georgia a short field, and they cash in for 3. Dari, thanks. Alabama team hotter than Cardi B right now.
That's pretty hot.
So I'm told. Georgia trying to stay undefeated. Drew Lock's got to get laced up. Ripped the side of his jersey on that near sack a couple of plays ago from Missouri's offense. Be headed for another face-off in Atlanta between Georgia and Bama. A couple teams still with something to say about that, obviously. Midway point of the season, but here's what's left. Alabama's got a reeling Tennessee team coming to town. Then LSU after a bye week go to Starkville in the Iron Bowl. Georgia's going to Jacksonville in a couple weeks. That game on the Plains will be interesting. So will Kentucky's trip here.
Yeah, don't sleep on Kentucky. They're a team that's been learning how to fight through adversity and learning how to finish games. Georgia has looked really good tonight in certain areas. I think we still need to find out how much pressure they can generate with 4 on the quarterback.
Jonathan Johnson on the end around. And it's a fight to get back to the line of scrimmage. Lorenzo Carter, you mentioned Tebow's freak of the week with a stop. He benches 355. He squats 500. Power cleans 345. And oh, by the way, he can run faster than 22 miles an hour.
6'6", 243. Look at him use his hands, extend that play. Oh, he's an athlete. Dunked for the first time in 6th grade. Think there was ever any question if he was going to be a freak?
Out of Norcross High School.
I wasn't even 5 foot in 6th grade.
Mario Crockett with the carry and leave with a limp. Favoring that right shoulder, it looks like. And the athletic training staff says just go down. Go down on the field. We'll get the clock stopped. We'll get somebody to look at you. And Missouri just 3 of 8 on 3rd downs tonight, while Georgia's 9 of 13. Let's take you back to the studio for an update. Here's Dari. Be there? I want to see a GPS tracker on that run, by the way.
You can tell you ran out of gas there at the end. That's a long way for a quarterback. It might have traveled. It might have gone 79 yards. Probably ran 120.
Yeah, I didn't think Gators zig and zag like that. Trips to the right for Drew Lock on 3rd and 2. Looking to the slant. Great coverage, and it's broken up. DeAndre Baker was all over Jamon Moore that time. That play may have been won in the film room.
Yeah, I really thought they were going to work the bunch set in the bottom of your screen. They go with a slant ISO route up top to Jamon Moore. It's a good look. I mean, if there's a guy that's going to win on one-on-one, it's Jamon Moore. But great play by DeAndre Baker there on a slant. You always want to get over the top and start to close that angle of the receiver.
Good snap that time for Missouri. Fatone gets off a boomer. And Hardman asks for a fair catch over the shoulder after a 50-yard punt for Corey Fatone. Back to Athens in a moment.
As a kid, you hear Chubbtown, I would see Chubb Road, and I would hear stories about them working hard and never giving up. That's incredible during that time period for African Americans to be free. Not only that, but for them to come and build their own community and start their own business was even more impressive.
That's Chubbtown and Nick Chubb's family journey, fueled by Pilot Flying J in 1864. Nick Chubb's family founded Chubbtown over in Floyd County, rural Georgia. That was during the Civil War. It was a free black colony that survived the Civil War. Self-sufficient in many ways, just about every way. And Nick Chubb has stated that one of his goals is to get the NFL, come back with some NFL money, and help rebuild Chubbtown. And here's DeAndre Swift. And DeAndre Swift living up to his name. Takes it all the way down for a 72-yard gain into the 11-yard line. Jim Chaney said when it comes to DeAndre Swift in this backfield, he's got as much magic as any of them. Talking about their great running backs, and his mom happy to see this one. Mom and Dad already had the T-shirts to celebrate.
That's a gain of 71 yards on the play.
And Swift will get a breather.
First and 10 with enough.
And We got a timeout down on the field. Mamayana, yep, awfully proud. Swift's mom and Swift's dad, in case you were wondering.
Legal substitution on the offense. 12 in the 4 bases. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Mom and dad watching tonight, and DeAndre Swift plays for another family member. His dad, his grandpa, pardon me.
They're just killing him right now on this crack concept, whether it's a toss sweep with a crack or outside zone with a crack. Brian Harrion coming down, blocking the contained player. Missouri's been actually pretty stout in between the tackles, but no contain on the outside. Georgia's exploited that all night.
Out of North Philadelphia, and here's Michelle, and there's the end zone. Second touchdown of the night for Sony Michel. And Missouri's defense frustrated after another breakdown.
It's a statement drive there. As that started, I said, hey, this is probably where you want to take a ton of time off the clock, but you open up holes like that up front. All it takes is 2.
Georgia's put 47 on the board. Sony Michel, 6 touchdowns on the season. 2 of them tonight for the senior from Florida. Well, they came in one of the best rushing teams in the country, 11 in the FBS, and they've looked like it tonight. Nick Chubb and company getting it done on the ground.
It's not overly complicated. They've only ran a few different runs tonight, but they've been able to get on the edge. And when you let Sony Michel and Nick Chubb get on the outside, they're going to make plays. But really impressive how they've exploited the concept that Missouri is really deficient at right now, which is force players on the outside, containing the run. You got to force it back inside. And I've said it, Missouri has not been able to do that at all.
No return. A lot of guys have left this game with injuries. For more on that, here's Cole.
Tom, Demaria Crockett in the injury tent has a shoulder injury. The shoulder pads are off. Not going to be expected to be back in this drive. His return for the game uncertain.
All right, thank you, Cole. See if Missouri's offense can return to this game. Explosive and dynamic. 3 touchdown passes for Drew Lock in the first half. In the second half, tough sledding for Missouri.
I think you want a quick throw here, get back in rhythm, get a good drive start going.
Lock was crowded in the pocket and fires it incomplete.
They tried. He was looking for Jamon Moore on the outside. We both got a chance to spend some time at Missouri this spring. That relationship between Drew Lock and Jamon Moore, very extensive. Sometimes it just takes a look in his direction, but they weren't on the same page there. Lock wanted to get rid of it, and Moore was going deep.
Here's Ish Witter out of the backfield. He's taken down short of the marker by Roquan Smith. Cole confirms Demaria Crockett's lost for the remainder of the game with that shoulder injury for Missouri. The Tigers down their starting running back. 3rd and 2. Here's Ish Witter. And a Missouri first down. This is a Missouri team that's 1-4 on the season. Barry Odom's squad won a shootout in week 1 against Missouri State. But it was at that time that it was obvious there were some issues with the defense. Offense has been fairly consistent this season in terms of putting up points, and they never looked better against SEC competition this year than they did Saturday night against Kentucky, and a great first half here tonight. Witter gets swallowed up. No, Lock's got it. Drew Lock will run for a first down. How about that for a play fake? Let's check in with studio.
First down for Missouri.
All right, Darth, thanks. That game over on ESPN2. 4.5 to go in the third quarter here. Locke gives it up this time, and Ish Witter is able to pick up a couple.
Missouri taking their time in between plays here. Usually you see them pushing the pace a little bit more, but if you notice, all the skill position players and Drew Lock are all standing and looking at the sideline, but nobody's signaling. They're still staring, waiting, which tells me someone upstairs is trying to get an idea of how Georgia's aligning to this formation and calling a play based off that. This is one of the things you can do when you go fast tempo. At times you can push that throttle down, or at times you pull it back and try to make the right move in a chess match.
Here's Witter again. Josh Heupel, the Missouri offensive coordinator. There's a Heisman runner-up as quarterback for Bob Stoops on a national championship team in Oklahoma. Here they go fast again. Heupel to the right in the front row.
See, I like what they did there. They lined up like they were about to go fast, sets Georgia defense. Now whoever's upstairs is looking down and picking out the play they want. I still think they need a little bit more urgency here, though. Just over 3 minutes left.
Drew Lock to run, and he gets taken down right at the line of scrimmage. Kel Carter with the stop. And that'll leave 4th and 4 for the Tigers. So for Tony again. This will be his 5th punt of the night. Hardman lets it bounce, and that's going to check up and be down at the 6 after a 41-yard punt. 47-21. Tom Hart, Jordan Rogers, Cole Kublik down on the field. Much of a sense of urgency from Missouri offensively, but Georgia offensively has really shown us a lot tonight. They've shown that they're a multidimensional team.
Yeah, it's simple. I mean, we saw early in the first quarter a lot of passes on early 1st and 2nd downs, allowing Fromm to develop, get comfortable with the intermediate passing game, that 10 to 20-yard window. But recently, that offensive line is controlling the line of scrimmage. They're only really running 2 plays, zone read, or it's an outside zone crack with the outside receiver from the slot. They're getting on the edge and allowing their athletes to be playmakers.
Georgia backed up here. They came into the game running at 73% of the time. Much more balanced tonight than they have been this season.
A lot of that's situational. I think they'd like to probably be more 65, 35, dependent, but when you run the ball like this and you're up in games, which they've been up in a lot of games, you just milk that clock, and that's the mode they're turning into right now. You see every second of this play clock tick down as much as possible.
140 yards on the ground in the third quarter. Fromm checks. Missouri showed some movement.
I'll start on the offense, number 89. Half the distance. Replay, second half.
That's a sophomore tight end, Charlie Warner. He's had a busy night tonight. Number 89 on the right side. He knew it, slapped his britches.
The run play, sometimes those tight ends get excited. Heard his name called a lot tonight. Really haven't heard of Isaac Nada much.
Yeah. Freshman All-American last year, and the sophomore Buford, Georgia, going to have a catch tonight. On 2nd and 12, here's Swift. What vision. Fantastic move. And in the hurdle. And DeAndre Swift out of North Philadelphia takes it 35 up the sideline.
He was born and raised to run the football. That's for sure. That's the same exact play he had the big run on last drive. This one he just kept right up the gut. Last time he bounced it outside.
Officials discussing.
Illegal motion on the offense, number 35. The player was on the line of scrimmage and went in motion. Half the distance. Replay. Second down.
So they'll take that one away from DeAndre Swift after the illegal motion from Brian Herrien. You saw Swift's mom and dad. Watch your left side of your screen, number 35.
Yep. Starts on the line of scrimmage. See 89 there. Charlie Warner's off the line of scrimmage.
And so that'll take it back. DeAndre Swift plays for his grandpa, Henry Holloway, his maternal grandfather, and he's got Pop Pop written on his wristbands. Able to see him on his wrist tape every time he looks down. And he's honored Pop Pop pretty well. Another movement up front for Georgia.
False start on the offense, number 66. Half the distance. Second down.
Solomon Kinley. Maybe some of that focus slipping away for Georgia with a large lead in the third quarter.
Take a deep breath. This is something the championship teams do. They don't lose focus no matter what that score is. The best that do it play like it's 0-0 every drive of the game.
And now 2nd and 15. Chubb hitting the end zone, and he's able to muscle his way out and avoid the safety. Instead of 2 points for Mizzou, it's a 2-yard gain for Chubb.
Boy, Terry Beckner blew through Solomon Kinley there, got right in the backfield, almost wrapped up Chubb. Slips him at the last minute. Almost a big negative play for a safety there. Beckner has looked quick. He has dodged Solomon Kinley, the right guard for Georgia, multiple times tonight, been in the backfield.
That's the end of the third quarter here in Athens. Georgia holding on to a large lead under the lights between the hedges. Let's take a look at our 15 minutes or less, brought to you by Geico. As we head to the fourth quarter, Georgia's offense running smoothly. Season high 565 total yards tonight. Nearly 300 on the ground, 267 through the air.
Georgia figured him out. Kirby Smart alluded to the fact that this may be one of the better D lines that they played. You saw that early on. Sony Michel, Nick Chubb really struggled between the tackles. Started bouncing it outside and finding a lot of success.
DeAndre Swift in the backfield. He's had a big night already. Last big run was called back. This one's not. Chucking over dudes. 11-yard gain. Offensive line for Georgia having a good night. They're a Joe Moore Award mid-season honor roll. Offensive line coach Sam Pittman doing a great job again.
Look at this hole. Gilliard, Kinley, the center and right guard there. Tom, you could run through that hole right there.
Probably.
Let alone you give it to Swift, who may be the best athlete on the team.
Cameron Nizilik to punt from his own end zone. His first punt of the night. Ivy League transfer out of Columbia. Ooh, wow. Nizilik went down, but he still got off a fantastic punt. DeMarcus Acey hauls it in after a 54-yarder off the foot of Nizilik. An econ degree from Columbia. And he's also got a big right foot.
He boomed this one. Perfect spiral, too. Ken Hilton almost got a hand in there. Tell you what, it's one of the more impressive things you'll see when someone can boom a punt on NFL sidelines pregame.
Oh, yeah.
Go watch the punters. Oh, that's more impressive than the quarterback going around.
I couldn't agree more. Locke checks to second receiver. He's got Jonathan Johnson into Georgia territory. And Drew Lock continues to find holes. It's a gain of 26.
Tom, once again, time. He had time to throw it. Mel Tucker and Kirby Smart were concerned about the pass rush. They believe they're good up front. They don't think they're great yet. They'd like to be better in the pass rush. We just haven't seen much of it tonight. You give Drew Lock time. You can't ask your defensive backs to guard or stay on receivers in man coverage that long.
Fake to Johnson. Lock looking at a deep comeback. He's got Johnson on the sideline, but incomplete. That was great coverage by DeAndre Baker. We saw Jonathan Johnson coming out of the backfield.
He's played well tonight. 5'11", 180-pound junior. Been tight in coverage. And that's an underestimated play there, staying home backside, because that was a trick play. Missouri half rolled to the right. They wanted to hit the wheel route out of the backfield on the backside, but Baker stayed home.
Lock to the perimeter. That's Hall, who's having another big night. And the ball came loose. Either Reed gathered and Hall recovered it. And a gain of 6. They say Emmanuel Hall wrestled it back. May have been down anyway, but a great job by Georgia, Tyreek McGee, to rip that thing out. Here's Hall. And enough for a first down, working on Dominic Sanders that time.
Well, and they've liked the right side of this field. And Missouri, with the pace that they run, they go left and right receiver. So Jamon Moore always on the left side. Emmanuel Hall always on the right side. Jamon Moore just one catch tonight. Hall has been the go-to guy for Drew Lock. Coaches said that they saw this coming. Big game last week against Kentucky. They've seen it in practice. It was kind of waiting for that opportunity for the ball to find him. And Drew Lock's been looking his way a lot.
Lock down to his tight end Reese over the middle. Touchdown Missouri. Jason Reese with his 3rd touchdown of the season. Fourth touchdown pass tonight for Drew Lock.
It's a little version of the pop pass. They fake outside zone across the face here. Reese sneaks by. Jawan Taylor, number 44 there, the outside backer, flew with the run. Nice little play action design there by Josh Heupel.
Well, with the way Missouri can score in bunches and score quickly, we still have a very interesting 4th quarter to develop. 47-28, 4th ranked team in the country.
SEC Saturday Night is presented by Holiday Inn Express. Be the readiest.
Full on nation ready. How about this scene coming into the 4th quarter tonight? Under the lights at Sanford Stadium, and cell phones providing even more light. 5th-year senior Jason Reese with the touchdown catch for Missouri. The Tigers can get a stop. They'll have a chance to make things really interesting. Here's Hartman. Oh my goodness. Taven Ross with the smoke for Missouri.
He comes full speed across the field. Hartman never saw him. Wow.
DeAndre Swift's parents, interested observers tonight. Their son having a heck of a game. Dad Darren, mom Ayana. Going to stop play. They might be initiating a targeting review. I don't know that the kick returner was considered defenseless on this hit, but if Ross hits him with the crown of the helmet,
I don't
it's
like
irrelevant. Which
Just
part?
If they call this targeting. I mean, look, Hardman's changing his levels. He's coming in shoulder, which would have hit him probably right in the upper shoulder, but at the last minute, Hardman starts to duck. What do you want him to do here? He turns his head to the side, leads with his shoulder as much as possible.
And to point out, the crown of the helmet starts with the top of the face mask, where the face mask bar meets the helmet. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, it's tough to tell.
But this rule is in place for a reason, and it has changed behavior to make the game safer. It has been effective in the years since it's been in place, and they've started calling it. Everyone's running full speed. But if you don't lower your head and lead with the crown, then they won't flag you.
What I was just about to say, that's the biggest part. No matter where the level of your helmet is, where the level of the helmet of the offensive player is, you can't dip that head in any way, shape, or form. If you show the crown of the helmet changing levels at all, it's going to give them good reason. That's such a bang-bang play. It's tough.
And in a lot of ways, too, this rule, in effect, for player safety, not just for the ball carrier, but for the tackler as well, to change behavior.
After review, number 6 on Missouri is disqualified for using the crown of the helmet. It's targeting 15-yard first down.
We'll miss the first half of the homecoming game against Iowa next week. I understand your perspective.
Yeah, the first view we had, you can kind of see him try to turn his head. But when you get, look at the helmet right here. You see him try to turn, but it's that right there. At the last minute, he tries to turn it, but before that, he ducks the crown of his helmet. So it is the right call. It's a tough one for that defender as well, because he doesn't know when Hardman's going to come out from the other side of that block, and he's running full speed. It's happened so quick, but it's to protect both those players.
DeMarcus Acey got flagged for it last week in the first half against Kentucky and had to miss the remainder of the game. Nothing doing up the middle for Nick Chubb. Trez Hall was there. It's been an interesting series between the two. Last year, Georgia secured their win thanks to a late fumble in a close game, and the year before it was a 9-6 final here between the hedges. Georgia outscored Missouri 13-0 in the third quarter tonight. They really take control of this game.
I love that right there. Look at Jake Fromm grabbing guys, getting them lined up.
Here's Swift. Pickup of 3. Mom and Dad watching on.
Boy, DeAndre's got a bright future here.
He took over a role in the slot that was occupied by Isaiah McKenzie last year. McKenzie may be a little bit quicker, but DeAndre Swift's got some power. And talking to this coaching staff, they're running through all the riches they have at tailback, and they said, listen, we need to get DeAndre on the field, so we put him out there in the slot. We'd love to have him in the backfield more, but you don't want to take Chubb and Michelle out of it. That's complete to the outside, and Mecole Hardman, and he is going to go. Hardman with the Jets, and it's a 59-yard touchdown. They switched him from defensive back in the spring. I'd say it's paid off. His second touchdown of the night.
Watch Jake Fromm move left, left, left. Swift with a great block, buying some time. Mecole Hardman is a playmaker. And Swift getting back in the picture there down at the end. They got some speed on the field.
Yeah, I don't know who's going to win a foot race.
Hardman, Swift. How about Jake Fromm?
They're going to go for 2 here, by the way. What's the purpose of that with a 53-28 lead? I mean, I know you're looking for the differential, and the card may say it, but it seems to be in control.
Yeah, not sure. I'd probably just kick it here. I know you're calculating in your head, but you trust your defense a little more than worry about 2 points.
Fromm checking it. Looking end zone with the lob and nobody there. Nicole Hardiman was a fantastic running quarterback at Elbert County High School with his zone read, and his quarterback appreciates his effort tonight. Let's take a look at the road to Atlanta, brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. What a crazy day in the SEC. South Carolina outlasts Tennessee 15-9. Vols had a shot with 1 second left. Couldn't find the end zone. Mississippi State rolled past the Cougars. They won that dance off 35-10. LSU was down to Auburn 20-0. Then Les Miles ate some grass and the Tigers turned it on in the fourth quarter. Honoring their national championship team. Trey Patterson accounted for 5 touchdowns today. Ole Miss with 57 on the board against Vandy. No return. After the game, SEC Now with Dari, Gene, and Chris. We'll be back with a full recap of the day and complete breakdowns of the biggest plays around the conference for Week 7. No one covers the SEC like we do. You can also see SEC Now streaming live on the ESPN app. Coach Chizik and Doran were talking early in this first half, wondering where Georgia's defense went. And they allowed those 63-yard touchdown passes. They changed a few things up. They made some adjustments, and they've looked pretty good.
Yeah, they changed some things up conceptually, coverage-wise. They're playing more man-match on the backside, allowing their safeties to be a little more rangy on the back end.
Rangy on the back end and passy on the offensive end.
And like Kirby Smart said, you got to be deeper than the deepest. So
yeah.
Been letting everything stay in front of them. Imagine Missouri's going to have to push the pace here as fast as possible.
That was Rashad Floyd with his first catch of the night, sophomore from Gulfport, Mississippi. Second down 6. Larry Roundtree out of Raleigh, North Carolina with a carry. 32 yards in the loss against Auburn earlier this season. That was that game against Auburn wasn't pretty for Missouri. Auburn makes a whole lot of teams look bad, and that was kind of the perfect matchup for Auburn's defense, the way they can get after the quarterback and get to him in a hurry. And it was after that game that Barry Odom went on a rant in his post-game press conference, saying, I've been through rebuilds before. I'm the man to win here. No one wants to win more than I do, but we're making progress. And he referenced the job that he and Justin Fuente did at Memphis. They won 4 games their first year. On paper, took a step backward year 2 and only won 3. So, but we knew we were getting better. We could see it inside the facility. And lo and behold, they come back out. They win 10 games the next year. Got a good quarterback. Fuente ends up going to Virginia Tech, getting a huge pay increase. And Memphis hadn't slowed down since. May have been a face mask on Ledbetter.
Yeah, he got him.
Roundtree was looking out the ear hole at the end of that one. 2nd and 5. You've been through that. You know, your time at Vanderbilt, you guys built into a bowl team. Did you sense before you got there, that was your redshirt year, your freshman year, that as a program you were making progress even if no one on the outside could see it?
Not my first year. We went 2-10 in 2010, my redshirt year, and I don't think we just had the pieces. There was a few guys, but we were young. That second year, you could start to feel it because we were more competitive. It wasn't that we were finishing games and winning the games that we were close in, but we were competing through 4 quarters, something we hadn't done at Vandy. And when you look at Missouri, that's a lot of times what you gauge development by. When you have young guys, when you're relying or rebuilding a program, you can't consistently get blown out. So these games, last game against Kentucky, when you saw that offense awaken in this game, Georgia's a good team. You're putting up 28 points against one of the top defenses in the entire country. That's marked improvement. That's marked development. You can put pieces together on the field and see development. That gives you the confidence.
Tony trying to angle this one. And it checks up. It's also about roster management. There's about 24 guys no longer on this team. And so Barry Odom and his staff trying to build some depth here as they build a program. Georgia's got it built. They're undefeated and rolling. Jake Fromm and the Georgia offense nearing a record-setting night. The 4th-ranked Dogs undefeated, trying to stay that way. They put 53 points on the board, 637 yards. Their record in an SEC game came back in 1942 against Ole Miss. They're playing Cardi B for you in the stadium.
For me,
talking about your red shoes. Yeah, like a lake. Wish we had a camera on Dancing Cole down there a second ago.
He's doing money moves down there.
Isaiah McKenzie, pardon me, Elijah Holyfield. Well, maybe just as quick. McKenzie now in the NFL, and Elijah Holyfield, yep, Evander's son, getting the carry, had a touchdown against Vanderbilt last week.
And he was kind of an afterthought. A lot of the coaches thought he wouldn't even be in the mix. Jim Chaney said he's a guy that a lot of rosters would love to have. Physical, talented. They got 5 running backs, Tom. 5 running backs that can all play.
I think when you discuss him being an afterthought, it was the opportunities that he does and doesn't get during the week in practice, right? Because you're the 5th-string guy. And then you play some blowouts and you get a chance on Saturdays or Saturday night, and he's taken full advantage of them. And that's kind of where he's surprised some folks. And he takes it to the 30 and nearly a first down.
I think you bring up a good point, Tom. And like Jordan said, this backfield, it may compare to some of the greatest backfields in SEC history, but the depth is what might separate it from some of the other great ones that we'll talk about.
All right.
You don't go 4 or 5 deep in many backfields and be able to bring in a guy like Holyfield.
Well, how would you compare the top end then against some of your best backfields? In terms of the elite, because everyone starts with that Arkansas backfield, and Darren McFadden finished 2nd in SEC history only to Herschel. He was something special, Cole.
I would have this backfield just out of my top 5.
So that would be number 6.
Maybe 7, maybe 8.
Here's Holyfield.
How about now?
Hey, they might have moved up. Holyfield fights off a 21-yard run. Here's Cole's all-time SEC backfield. Darren McFadden and company in 2007, something special. And how about that Auburn backfield in 04?
Yeah.
Carnell Williams, Ronnie Brown, Trey Smith, also a member of that Auburn backfield. That 98 Tennessee backfield, boy. Jamal Lewis, that's one that I think is in that category of all-time elite backs, especially from a physical specimen standpoint. That 09 Alabama wasn't bad either. Richardson, Lacey, Ingram. Let's say that 2014 Georgia backfield would be close to the top 5 as well.
That Todd Gurley guy's pretty good, isn't he?
Not bad.
Well, Superman Herschel Walker is pretty good as well. I mean, if you start to extrapolate his numbers, if you add in the bowls and the extra games and what Herschel was able to do, he might be up there as just a single guy.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he played in how many games did he play? We were looking at the stats last night. They didn't count his bowl game.
Number 40 is changed to number 7. Number 40 is turned to number 7.
And Nick Chubb, when it's all said and done, will have a chance to maybe be 2nd all time in the SEC. But Herschel was something special.
Well, speaking of great players, they just beat the record that Frank Sinkwitz and his Georgia team back in 1942 set. Sinkwitz won the Heisman in 1942. And this guy was pretty good. 5,259 yards. Maxwell Trophy, Heisman Trophy, SEC Player of the Year, Walter Camp Player of the Year. Just incredible.
And you know what? That era, too, everyone knew he was getting the ball. Imagine if you played in this era. A little more spread, get 3 receivers out there, maybe have the illusion of passing the ball even though you're not going to. At least take a couple sets of eyes off him.
Herschel's freshman year against South Carolina, he carried the ball 43 times for 219 yards. Holyfield turns it up the corner.
This kid go.
Picks up 9. So how do you match against the best? Herschel Walker 5,259 in his career. Chubb second to perhaps the greatest, 41-12, and still plenty of games to go.
And to Chubb's credit, you miss a lot of time with a knee injury. You're splitting. I mean, look at all the yards that Sony Michel has. A lot of yards on the table as well.
Offensive lineman Pat Allen is injured, and we'll step away for a timeout. Under 4 to go tonight from Athens. Yeah, so much for that hot seat in College Station, huh? Here's a look at the West. Texas A&M now 3-1 in the league, 5-2 overall. They won, even though Kellen Mond went just 8 of 24 for 180 and a pick. By the way, it's the Aggies' first win in the Sunshine State since 1944.
Wow. Mond's still developing. They run the ball well. You know what's most impressive, though? What John Chavis is doing with that defense. They're so much more disruptive in the front four. You saw that against Alabama. He challenged them the week of South Carolina when we had the game.
Yeah.
They got some guys on that defense.
They do.
Loaded at defensive tackle, defensive ends, hard hat guys, just bring it each and every night. Play a lot of effort. Young linebackers, young DBs. That's going to be a different team here in 3 or 4 weeks in College Station, I believe.
Well, you know, Cole, that'd be the difference for Texas A&M, right? Because over the last 3 years, they were a different team in the second half of the season. In a bad way.
Yeah,
they got worse as the season
I
went
think
on.
what they're doing different. Remember how many true freshmen they're playing? They were platooning their entire offensive line at one point. They're playing a ton of true freshmen on defense as well. That can be good and bad, but the good of that is you have depth and experience, and that's what you need late in the season.
And how about this depth? Elijah Holyfield has another big run, and we got a flag on the play. By the way, it brings to mind something that Bob Stoops told his Georgia team this week. He came in to talk to him, and he talked about being a championship caliber team. And he told Kirby Smart's squad,
Holding. Offense, number 14. 10-yard penalty. Second out.
he told Kirby Smart's team that championship teams get better as the season progresses. In the back half of the season, they're better than they were in the first half, especially you consider other teams that aren't as good are falling off. Now in the second half of the season, in his second season as Georgia's head coach, and if this year ends like Georgia fans think it might, he would be one of 5 second-year coaches to win a national championship, and the first since Stoops to do it without any previous head coaching experience. And there's some similarities there. Stoops came from a national championship coach and tree with Steve Spurrier in Florida as a defensive coach, and obviously Kirby coming from Tuscaloosa with the same thing under Nick Saban. So much so, Nicole, we're at practice on Thursday, and we noted that Georgia's Thursday practice is eerily similar to the way Nick Saban runs his practices. And we asked Kirby about it, and he said, yeah, that's my coaching tree. That's who I learned from.
Yeah, told us it was the same blueprint. And it starts with the demeanor, Tom. And I think a lot of fans wouldn't understand that if you hadn't been to practice, and you hadn't been to multiple teams' practices. But there's just not a lot of messing around, not a lot of hooping and hollering on the sideline. It's all business. And one way that he makes sure that happens is consistent work. He has as many guys working as often as possible throughout practice.
And no idle hands, no idle minds on that sideline. You know how similar it is? They even use the same crowd noise in Athens that they do in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah. Well, you know how to do things one way. It's worked. You stick to it. What amazes me about that is everyone talks about expectation. Yeah, obviously the best teams have an expectation of winning. But Kirby Smart, Nick Saban, that tree, they have an expectation of how every rep, every station, every period of practice goes. From the tone to the demeanor to the execution. That's how you get better in the second half of the season. You don't get complacent. You stay consistent in what you do every single day to continue to get better.
He said it's pretty simple. I was with a guy for 12 years, Alabama, Miami, LSU. It's in my DNA. 701 yards of total offense tonight for Georgia. It's the second most in Georgia history. Drew Lock in Missouri made it a game in the first half. A shootout early, But the Tigers held a single touchdown in the second half. Jake Fromm is going to stay undefeated as the starter for Georgia. Not bad for a freshman. Barry Odom's team gave him a fight just like they did last week against Kentucky. But Georgia's just too good. This is a national championship contender, no doubt about that.
And the question I had coming in was Jake Fromm. How would he develop as a passer? How did he? 18 to 26, 326 yards and